Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basement Monsters Game Day podcast on SportsZone Chicago. And wow, Cleveland. Wow. Brown's going to brown. I guess Brown's going to brown.
That's right.
Because how in the world do you let old-ass Chad Henne? I thought it was a joke when I saw the name on the – I thought it was a joke. I was like, that's a new Henne. I was like, that has to be a new Henne.
Nope.
Old-ass Chad Henne gets outside of you. If the Cleveland Browns defense. He gets outside the Cleveland Browns defense and has one hell of a run. And honestly, it wasn't even the next play. And Romo and Nance were just pissing me off at the end because they were just too hyped up. I'm like, shut your ass up, Tony. Like, you clearly saw him get stopped before the line.
Yeah.
You clearly saw that. And then you had Jim Nance announcing that last play was a play nobody saw. The shot heard around the world. It was a play nobody thought about. We didn't see an out route to Tyreek Hill coming with three wide on the outside and him as the inside guy. You didn't see that? Come on, Cleveland.
It goes before both of those. It goes before both of those. I put this straight up on Stefanski. You can't. You have someone in the Cleveland organization needs to tell him that there's a screen that's like 35 feet by 40 feet up there, and you watch that before you throw the challenge flag. Why did you cost yourself a timeout? That was the stupidest shit I ever saw.
The dumbest shit
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God.
You know why they did it, Luke? Because they screwed up before and didn't throw the challenge flag on a play that went to, I think it was an out route to one of the receivers, came down with it. It was clearly the ground helped the catch.
Right.
You didn't. That's why they were desperate. They didn't want it to happen again to them because if they would have stopped them there, I felt like they would have had a little momentum. They had the momentum. They had everything. You come out.
You drop yourself to one timeout, bro. One timeout, and then you let Henne run like an idiot.
I couldn't believe that, dude. I couldn't believe you allowed him to get outside of you. Like what? Just straight up the field. Straight up the field. Have the middle guy. He was flustered with pressure up the middle. Have your middle lineman, and even if you want to send a blitz, go right there and then. They need what? 16 yards?
Yeah. Well, they were at first and 25.
You like are they gonna with a 3 second to 4 second pocket? You're expecting them to get 15 yards downfield? Like spare me, man. Spare me, man. Like that shit with defenders on, that shit's not gonna happen. Like it's not gonna happen. You had to have contained, man. And I couldn't believe when he was running. I was like, oh, it's over. I was like, oh, they're gonna have a shot. And then I'm like, where the hell is the defenders?
Clear on the other side of the field.
Where are the defenders? I was like, oh my God, where are the defenders? Come up. Yeah. He's not gonna throw the ball.
Right.
It's on Cleveland. That's on Cleveland. That's
100%.
That's on the defensive coaching staff of the Cleveland Browns. You didn't have contained. Did you think that he wasn't going to get outside? Did you think that wasn't going to be a threat? You didn't have anybody lurking in that middle? Come on, man.
Dude, if I'm the Cleveland, if I'm the Cleveland fan base, I'm going to the airport when the team arrives with a banner that's about 40 feet long, 5 feet tall that says Chad fucking Henne? Question mark. Really? God, dude.
Chad Henne, bro.
You had it dropped in your lap, man. You had it dropped in your lap, and you gave it away. I mean, that's like I said, those timeouts are valuable, man. Like
the only people that are happy right now, the only people that are happy right now are Chiefs fans and Michigan fans. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Chad Henne's the man tonight. I can't believe it. I am in. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm telling you, Luke, I'm like, somebody's coming. I'm waiting for a Browns player to flash on the screen.
No, I saw they were
and stop them 6 yards short. You know, I'm still waiting for that guy to show up on screen, and he's not there. He wasn't there, and that cost them the game.
Yep.
And honestly, there was multiple times where I felt like, man, Cleveland, one or two things. The touchdown, the touchback.
Yeah.
The touchback cost them the game.
Yep.
Let's not
forget a penalty. A should have been called penalty cost them the game.
A should have been called penalty as well. Could have cost.
But you can't rely on penalties, man. You got to coach. You know, you got to coach to win.
But like you said, he should have went out of bounds. Higgins should
100%, 100%.
And just been like, we live right here. We live right here.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, that's an easy punch in for Hunt or Chubb. You know, I mean, that's not rocket science there. So, you know, it is what it is. Cleveland's got a long time to think about it. And Kansas City's moving on, so we'll see Kansas City and the Bills at Kansas City next week.
Man, I felt like it was going to be Bills-Browns. Wouldn't that be a hell of a headline?
As soon as Mahomes got drunk, I thought, oh God, here we go, Bills and Browns.
Man, I thought they were going to bring him back. I was like, y'all didn't want to call that right there on the field when he was going sideways and couldn't get his legs.
I was like, dude, I see that every Friday night at any name a bar in Chicago. I see it every Friday night. People walking like that. Like it's time to go sit down.
We used to see it every Friday night.
Well, yeah.
And now that shit's locked down. We only watch ourselves in the mirror stumbling and
relive our Facebook posts.
Right. Oh man, dude. We both had Cleveland winning this game, and they were in it even with Mahomes. I believe they were in it.
Yeah.
Man, the little things, and it's actually really one thing. It's the biggest thing, the touchback fumble, the fumble to the touchback. It was
but would it be the playoffs without a blatantly botched call? I mean, it seems like we see this every year in the playoffs, and it all go back to Rams Saints when that was a clear pass interference, and every year since then it's been a call that just nobody can see it. Everybody in New York. So at that point, it's like, what good is New York? You know, like if however many people you got working in the office up there in New York, the guy that's there at the stadium and replay, and nobody decides that's a penalty, then what good is anybody?
You got former referees. Like there needs to be something done about that, because if you're going to stop the replay, the entire play should be in call. The entire play should be reviewable.
Exactly.
The entirety, not just one little part of it.
Right.
The entirety should be in play.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, and it should be where the ball is. It shouldn't be like, oh yeah, there was something downfield. And when you look at it, it should be where the action is. It's tough, man. It's tough. You could talk about the penalty, man. The penalty that wasn't. You have to hold on to the football. You have to hold on to the football.
And I mean, hey, it's Millie's all about those Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, dude, I'm telling you, we were sitting out here watching the game, and as soon as he threw that red flag on the field, I was like, that just killed him. I knew it. I knew it was going to come down. I knew it. You only had two timeouts when you threw it. So What are you doing? Come on, man. Like, you know, Stefanski's going to look back and he's going to be like, damn, you'll probably hear him say that I shouldn't have challenged. And that's exactly right. Like that challenge where you only have two timeouts left in a tight game, and you know, you punted. You punted. You know what I mean? And then you had one timeout, and then you let Henne turn into Mike Vick over there. So yeah, that's Stefanski's got a lot to think about. I think the Browns are okay. I mean, they're going to be back. You know, I think they've kind of found something there with Stefanski. I like that guy. I like the coach. And like I said, I think they'll be back. But you had a chance to knock down the Titan of the NFL pretty much, and you choked.
Hey, Buffalo better be looking at this game like, hey, we're in it. And to be honest, you got to look at the health of Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Is he going to be ready for next week?
Yeah.
Is he going to be ready to go? I don't know. Hey, right now, we're going to go ahead and bring in our guy, my co-host for the Daily Pregame Show on the Halitech Call, Michael Halitech. Mike, what a game. I was in, I couldn't believe the ageless wonder, Chad Henne, was so fleet of foot, could get outside of the Cleveland Browns defense and scramble for what was a position. He set up his team in good position to get the first down in the next play. A scramble that I couldn't believe happened. It was a good game by both teams, but you can't allow that if you're the Cleveland Browns.
You can't. But that's like you said. It's just one of those things. It turned out to be a great finish to what was a great game. You've been talking while I was in the green room. You were still talking about that play with the fumble into the end zone and the non-call on the helmet-to-helmet play, which should have been called but wasn't. And then you talked about the worthlessness of New York. You've got Mike Pereira on Fox. You've got Dean Blandino that comes on. But I guarantee you that the moron that is in charge of NFL officiating, Al Riveron, will never have a network job because he has been absolutely brutal. And let's go all the way back. Hi, Millie. How you doing? Let's go all the way back to the Zach Miller touchdown in New Orleans is the last play of his career. And he comes on and says how this was the proper call by New York. I'm sorry. He's absolutely and has always been absolutely full of shit.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Luke was saying, this has been a growing trend with NFL officiating. It's been like, okay, there's been egregious penalties right in front of us. They'll show the replay. They'll talk about it over and over, and it seems like every week, every game, they keep mounting more and more and more and more.
And the other thing is everybody's scared to say that's a penalty. You notice they never say that. They say, oh, well, it looks like this and it could have been that. And, the ball goes. And then they want to talk about, so, okay, the ball went out of the end zone, which that's on the I don't remember who that was, if that was Joku or whoever. But what are you sliding for, dude? Just walk over and pick it up. Yeah, that was a debacle.
One of the things that you just mentioned, Luke, about, and I don't know if you were referring to the announcers or whatnot.
Yes.
But when Tony Romo first came out, he was very a matter of fact about this is this and this is that and this was wrong, and he is now going back and forth. I don't know, maybe. And it's like I love Tony Romo when he first came out, and now he drives me nuts. He absolutely goes one way, and then he turns around and says, "Well, maybe it wasn't. Well, maybe it was." I mean, F that, man. Stick to your guns like you used to and be the man that you were that got you into position to have this multi-million-dollar contract.
They're the most protected. They're the most protected people in the NFL. It's not the players. It's not the coaches. It's not the organizations. It's the referees. They never want to say that he made a stupid-ass call. They never come out and say that. Or if they do, it's after the game. It's getting ridiculous. Like there has to be. And I'm going to use your guys' word, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. There has to be accountability.
There it is. And you know what?
Wait a minute. That's Matt Nagy's.
That's everybody that I saw.
That's not our word. That's George McCaskey's and Ted Phillips' word.
I had to throw it out there.
It was great that you did.
Yeah, Miller's talking about he's a runner at that point. He did make a high tackle, but I don't think it was egregious enough for a penalty. He just landed awkwardly. I think what he did is landed on top of the ball and had that weight coming down off the arm that jarred his neck, and that was it. He was clearly out. I thought they were going to bring him back in, but it was rough. It was rough to watch at the end. I couldn't believe it. I felt for the Cleveland Browns fans because I was like, yo, this close again. Like you're back to this being this close. Remember the drive. Also, like you have so many things that went wrong for Cleveland in history, and this is another one. And you get the sack, man. You get the sack right before, and you're in prime position to get the ball back and make a last gasp attempt, and you let the old man get outside of you. Like it kills me. I'm reliving it right now. I'm sure Cleveland fans are dying, but it just keeps playing in my head. Who the hell is who the hell is getting over to the right side to cover that entire gap of the field. The entire side of the field was open.
Yeah, every single other defensive player was on the other side of the field. Like there was nobody there, which was insane. And I mean, what was that? A first? They started at 1st and 25 and ended up being like a 3rd and 15 or something like that. Like, God, dude.
Right. Well, let's talk about a couple other misses, Mike. You had mentioned Nick Chubb not being able to catch that screen pass early in the game. Those are things that are going to come back to bite you in the ass, and they did. Like I said, the fumble in the end zone, missed opportunities early and missed opportunities late is really what cost the Cleveland Browns.
It was, and we talk about this all the time on Halitech Hall and any other Bears Twitter podcast that you can find, that NFL games always come down to 2 or 3 key plays that were either made or missed. And that's exactly what happened to Cleveland today. They're this close. A couple of catches by Chubb, that fumble, if he hangs on to the ball, if the penalty gets called, and the game's completely different. But all in all, I can't take anything away from either team because unfortunately for Cleveland fans, Kansas City won, and you can't change it. Mm-hmm. But it was a hell of a game, and it was just fun the way it turned out. Except for those, I can't believe that 4th and less than 1 play right at the end of the game to Kansas City did to let them run out the clock. That was a ballsy call, man.
Yeah,
I felt like something like that was coming. I was less entertained by Williams in the backfield than I was. I was less worried about Williams in the backfield than I was Tyreek Hill out in the flat already. You already have them in space. If you think about it, he's already in space. Don't think about the 2 receivers around him because they're going upfield. He's already in space that's naturally created. 1 step, 2 step, boom, right on a dime. You make him make a play. He was making plays all game. You give it to your best player, and that's what Kansas City did. When Jim Nantz was going nuts about how, and I understand how ballsy it is, like Mike said, but the way he described it is like nobody saw it coming. I was like, you're out of your mind. That's your best player.
Well, Tony Romo was sitting there saying, "This is no play. There's no play here." You could tell by the body language, and then bam, they hiked it.
Exactly. And
the other thing I'm going to be curious to see too, because I'm going to tell you this is shit that can't fly in the NFL on any team, and I don't care who you are, and I don't give a damn because guess what? The game is much bigger than one player, and don't think that you're somebody special. Tyreek Hill pushing a coach on the sideline, something needs to be done about that. I don't care. It wasn't like the guy didn't fall down or anything like that, but you don't come in there and start throwing a fit and get up and start pushing coaches around. Somebody needs to do something about that guy because I understand you're fired up. It's in the game, whatever. That's fine, but you're not sitting down and then get up and walk over and just shove the dude. To me that's just I don't know. That's a character thing with Tyreek, and I don't know. To me, I was just like, dude, what does this guy think? Who does he think he is, man?
Well, I mean, we already know about his character issues and
right.
issues off the field.
He's an elitist, man. He's an elitist.
Yeah,
and guys, they're NFL players. They're all Type A personalities,
right?
And that shit won't stop until the coaches take the guy off the field.
Exactly.
For the right discipline. It will never happen.
I don't see it happening like you said. Part of me felt like Mahomes was coming back though, and I don't understand why you would send him to the first of all, seeing him almost fall. He staggered trying to stand up, being held up by his offensive lineman, goes under the tent, and then immediately gets rushed into out back. Like you should have had him in the back right away. The call should have been made on the field. That goes to the refs as well. And I just feel like if you see something like that, you should immediately call play dead. Go to the sideline, go to the doctor, tell him what you saw, and get him into the locker room. I had a bad feeling that they were going to do it. Look, they won. The Chiefs won. That's good for them. But by the skin of their teeth, they won. But if Pat Mahomes would have came back and he wouldn't have been right, that would have been terrible for the NFL. That would have been a terrible look. So if I know that they got it right the third time around, because it should have been called right there on the field when he was falling over and could barely look anybody straight in the eye.
It is what it is. I mean, that's what it is. Come playoff times, I feel like sometimes those guys be like, you good? You good? Okay, you're going back. You know what I mean? Because I remember I've talked to you about it before, Ivan. This has been years ago. And the one that I remember is St. Louis Rams. And I can't remember if it was Case Keenum or who the quarterback was, but I mean, this guy took a shot. And he was done. He was rubber-legged and everything. The offensive lineman comes down, picks him up, and damn near carries him to the line of scrimmage, and they get off the next play. And I was just like, wow. And like there was nobody to say, hey, he needs to come out of the game or anything. And so, that goes to another thing. There's more than just the referees on the field, and there's people up in the booth that could say, hey, this guy needs to go right now. Like, because you could see it perfectly. We saw it on national TV. They saw it with their own two eyes. Like you got to get these guys. What good is it? You're going to go over, sit them down, and be like, okay, cool, yeah, you got a concussion. Let's go. Let's take him back.
What about the ones you don't see?
Yeah,
it's like they gave him three. It was like three. They really gave him three opportunities, and he was really seeing stars. But it is what it is. Look, the Chiefs are moving on. Whether they have Pat Mahomes or not, they beat the Cleveland Browns today, 22-17, and they'll be taking on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC title game. Moving on to this next game, your game, Luke. We talked about it earlier. It's got to be a run-first mentality. And, Mike, me and Luke were discussing, you have to find a way to utilize the middle of the field. So you're going to have to find a way to eat up yards with your backs, but hit your tight ends over the middle in order to eat up clock, because I feel like if you try to get into a shootout again with the Saints, like we saw the last time, they could go out and blow you out.
This is going to be a tough game. It's amazing. You've got these two quarterbacks that are in their 40s competing at such a high level, and completely different styles. Drew Brees gets the ball out quickly. Tom Brady tends to sit in the pocket and has to have a great line around him. And that's what they built in New England, and that's what the Arians has built in Tampa. So he's able to scan the field and get the ball to where it needs to go. But you're right. You've got Kamara on one side. Christ, Luke, who's the running back for Tampa? I can't even tell you.
Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette.
Okay. So that's a good 1-2 combination. So I think you're right. You're going to see Tampa try to eat up the clock and keep Drew Brees off the field. Drew Brees can strike quickly, but if Kamara gets going, man, like he did on Christmas Day, there's nothing Tampa can do.
Yeah, I think Tampa's strength when it comes to Alvin Kamara is the simple fact that they have Devin White and Levante David. Both of those guys, it's reminiscent of Briggs and Urlacher. They're both all left to right, front to back. They could cover. Those guys are huge, and I think Kamara's going to have a tough time with them. I think they're going to have to someone's going to have to be spying on Kamara to follow him around. Those linebackers are fast, and then we got Shaq Barrett too. So I feel like our linebackers are good enough to contain Kamara. My concern is the secondary. We have four guys back there with the average age of 23. They've been cooked a couple times this year, and I feel like they need to just settle down, not let the game get too big. Cover your guy, play your area, whatever it is, if it's man, zone, whatever they're running. And they need to tighten up and we picked him last game, and he didn't really do too much. But I have a feeling this game right here is going to be a big Jared Cook game.
I feel like you're right. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up right now for the Basement Monsters Game Day podcast. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Luke Nettles for Michael Halatek. We'll get to you guys at halftime of Bucks and Saints. Actually, I'm on my way to Luke's house because we're going to do it. We're going to do it from his crib. So
I wish I could join you guys. Have a great time.
Yeah, all right, Mike. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here until the half, guys. This has been the Basement Monsters Game Day podcast on SportsZone Chicago.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butts.